Jeffrey Epstein didn't look like a monster. He looked like a quiet, well-dressed man. He slipped easily through rooms filled with power. In the 1970s, he appeared almost out of nowhere. No clear credentials, no obvious fortune, yet somehow teaching at elite schools, advising billionaires. He was flying between the world's most exclusive cities. People asked how he made his money. He never gave a straight answer. That mystery followed him everywhere. By the 1990s, Epstein owned private jets, multiple mansions, and a private island hidden in the Caribbean. The island had a name that sounded harmless, almost peaceful. But later, survivors would describe it very differently. What investigators would eventually uncover was not just a criminal operation, but a system, one designed to recruit, silence, and erase. It started quietly. Teenage girls, some as young as 14, were approached with promises of easy money. A massage, a short visit, no danger, just trust. Many came from broken homes. Many didn't fully understand what was being asked of them until it was too late. Once inside Epstein's world, the rules changed. The abuse was methodical, repetitive. Survivors later described how Epstein created a pipeline. One girl told to recruit another and another after that. Each was made to feel complicit, trapped between fear and shame. And above them all was a constant reminder. The people involved were powerful, very powerful. In 2005, a parent finally went to the police. What followed should have ended everything. Instead, it exposed something far darker. Despite overwhelming evidence, Epstein received an unusually lenient plea deal in 2008. He served barely over a year in custody, much of it on work release, while dozens of victims were never told the deal even existed. Prosecutors later admitted it was a mistake. Others called it something else entirely. Epstein returned to his life like nothing had happened, but the walls were already cracking. Years later, investigative journalists and survivor lawsuits forced sealed records back into court. Names began to surface, not as charges, but as mentions. Contacts, flight logs, photographs, emails, fragments of association. And that's when the internet noticed. When the so-called Epstein Files began to leak and later be officially released in waves, people expected clarity. What they got instead were documents that felt haunted. Page after page was redacted, thick black bars swallowing entire paragraphs. Victims were reduced to initials. Dates were missing. Conversations cut off mid-sentence. Some files appeared online briefly, then vanished. But in the spaces that remained visible, certain names stood out. Donald Trump, Bill Gates, Bill Clinton, Michael Jackson, each for different reasons, each with different levels of documented contact. None charged in relation to Epstein's crimes. Some denied ever visiting the island. Some acknowledged knowing Epstein, but distanced themselves once his behavior became public. And yet, their names were there. Not accusations, not verdicts, just presence. To many watching, that was worse. Because the files didn't explain why a name appeared, only that it did. A flight log, a contact list, a photograph at a party decades ago. The ambiguity fueled speculation like gasoline on fire. Online, people slowed footage frame by frame. Reddit threads dissected every line. TikTok zoomed in on blacked-out names like they were crime scenes. Some claimed this proved everything. Others warned it proved nothing. Meanwhile, the victims remained largely unseen. Their stories were still fragmented, buried beneath legal language and redactions. Survivors spoke of rooms with cameras, of being told powerful people would protect Epstein forever, of knowing, even as children, that no one would believe them. Then, in 2019, Epstein was arrested again. This time, there would be no plea deal. But before he could face trial, Jeffrey Epstein was found dead in his jail cell. Officially ruled a suicide. The timing shattered public trust. Security cameras malfunctioned. Guards fell asleep. Records were incomplete. And the man at the center of it all was gone. taking answers with him. That's when the horror truly set in. Because now, the case had no ending, only documents. As more files were released in the years that followed, the pattern became impossible to ignore. The most powerful people in the world floated through Epstein's orbit. Politicians, royalty, celebrities, financiers, while the girls who suffered were reduced to footnotes. Not because their pain wasn't real, but because it was inconvenient. Today, the Epstein Files exist like a digital graveyard, not a list of guilt, but a map of proximity. A reminder of how close unchecked power can get to unimaginable harm, and how easily the truth can be buried under procedure, privilege, and time. And the most disturbing part isn't the names people recognize. It's the names we'll never see. The pages that stayed black, the files that disappeared, and the girls who were never given justice, only silence. Because sometimes the scariest stories aren't about monsters hiding in the dark. They're about monsters who never had to.